In the vast expanse of history, the spotlight often shines on well-known empires such as Rome, Egypt, and China, whose tales are deeply etched into time. Yet, there are lesser-known empires that lurk in the shadows, whispering stories of greatness and decline. Picture empires that emerge like oases in a desert, flourishing among giants only to fade into obscurity. From the nomadic Khazars who embraced Judaism in the steppes to the Axomates who carved churches into African rock, these are not mere footnotes, but rather reflections of human ambition, resilience, and the embrace of obscurity. Let us journey through the windswept plains where the echoes of ancient hooves once resonated, to explore the mysterious ascension and fall of the Khazar Empire, an enigmatic Jewish kingdom on the vast Eurasian steppe. This formidable confederation originated from semi-nomadic Turkic tribes who established a significant presence around the 7th century. Positioned between the Byzantine Empire and the expanding Islamic Caliphate, the Khazars solidified their realm by excelling in trade and diplomacy. By controlling the flow of goods along the Silk Road, the Khazars rose as key players whose influence spanned from the northern Caucasus to the fertile lands surrounding the Caspian Sea. Their ascent was marked by sophistication and strategy, enabling them to maintain autonomy amidst larger powers through political astuteness and military strength. Governed with remarkable adaptability, the Khazars crafted a diverse yet cohesive empire that seemed impervious to the fate of larger, more cumbersome states. Embracing innovations and integrating cultures, the Khazars embraced Judaism en masse in the 8th century, a decision that has intrigued historians for centuries. This conversion was not merely a diplomatic move, but a bold assertion of their unique identity, signaling sovereignty in a religiously divided world. By adopting Jewish law and Hebrew as an administrative language, the Khazars established a distinct way of life. Jewish scholars flocked to their cities, blending theology with governance in unprecedented ways, creating a tapestry of coexistence where Islam, Christianity, and native beliefs coexisted under a Jewish ruling elite. In this diverse empire, cultural pluralism was not only accepted, but flourished. The Khazars attracted a diverse array of peoples, offering refuge to persecuted groups and fostering an environment where coexistence was the norm. Art, literature, and music blossomed amidst the blend of cultures, fueled by the vibrant exchange in their bustling cities that served as vital hubs connecting the East and West. The Khazars' embrace of diversity in this melting pot was their source of strength. Cultivating a society characterized by mutual respect and engaging in rich philosophical exchanges was a priority for the Khazars. However, their empire thrived not only on ideals, but also excelled economically and militarily. A key factor contributing to their sustained success was their control over critical trade routes, which positioned them as a crucial hub in the Silk Road's economy. This facilitated the flow of silk, spices, ideas, and technologies, symbolized by the distinctive sound of minted coins adorned with symbols such as the Star of David. These coins not only reflected their financial prowess, but also served as a proud emblem of their cultural identity. Powered by a sophisticated and robust economy, the Khazars implemented military strategies that mirrored their diplomatic agility. Their cavalry, known for swift and decisive tactics, effectively patrolled their expansive territories with precision, utilizing the open plains to swiftly respond to threats. Their military alliances, notably with Byzantium, showcased a strategic depth that balanced suppression with diplomacy. Despite their prosperity, the Khazars faced mounting external and internal pressures that eventually led to their decline. Challenges from the Rus in the north, internal strife eroding cohesion, succession disputes intertwined with religious and economic tensions, and external threats collectively weakened the Khazars. By the 10th century, critical defeats at the hands of the Rus dismantled their power, leading to the gradual unraveling of their empire. Trade routes lost their significance, cities became silent, and bustling marketplaces were abandoned, marking the twilight of the Khazar Empire. The Khazars, once a powerful force, gradually faded into history, leaving behind a legacy that resonates across time. Their story serves as a poignant reminder of the impermanence of empires and the ceaseless passage of time. Despite their disappearance, the echoes of the Khazars endure, offering lessons on multicultural integration and resilience. scholars have pieced together their tale from ancient texts and artifacts, weaving a narrative that blends history with myth, capturing the essence of human transience and the inevitable decline of even the most formidable empires. As a haunting reminder of the past's influence on the present, the Aksumite Empire in what is now Ethiopia stood as a significant African power in trade and faith. Situated at the crossroads of ancient trade routes, Aksum was a diverse hub where Roman currency mingled with Indian treasures and aromatic spices filled the air, creating a vibrant marketplace adorned with ivory and gold. Greek and Roman historians recounted tales of this enigmatic empire, depicting ships laden with riches sailing the Red Sea and establishing a legacy that extended beyond its borders. The bustling markets of the city resonated with the voices of merchants and the presence of exotic goods, forming a lavish tapestry that rivaled other great civilizations of its era. Beyond material wealth, Aksum evolved into a cultural mosaic, characterized by architectural marvels that stood as testaments to its kings and their conquests, with inscriptions in the ancient G script that still survives in Ethiopian liturgies. Innovation and artistic expression thrived in Aksum, as stories from distant lands were carried by travelers, enriching the city's spirit. In a monumental shift, the empire embraced Christianity in the 4th century, led by King Ezana's conversion under the influence of Frumentius, a Christian captive. This transformation marked a spiritual journey ahead of much of Europe, with King Ezana championing the Christian faith by building churches and spreading its teachings across his realm. The fusion of old customs with Christian beliefs enriched the kingdom's cultural fabric, enhancing the ruler's authority and unifying the people. Even as Christianity took root, Aksum's ancient traditions endured, symbolizing a harmonious blend of beliefs that strengthened the empire's foundations. The legacy of Aksum persisted through the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, carved in the 12th century to honor Aksumite traditions and biblical themes. These sanctuaries, envisioned by King Lalibela as a New Jerusalem, attracted pilgrims from distant lands who found solace in the union of devotion and nature's beauty within the stone walls that echoed stories of faith and resilience. The economic might of the empire was also reflected in its coinage, symbolizing its prosperous past. The precursor to modern finance that established Aksum's global significance was represented by coins made of gold and silver. These coins featured the images of kings alongside the Christian cross, symbolizing a blend of sovereignty and spirituality. Widely circulated, these coins served as symbols of trust across continents, enhancing Aksum's influence from the Roman frontier to the bustling marketplaces of India. Aksum was distinguished by its economic acumen, with bustling commerce in ports like Adulis, contributing to its prosperity and solidifying its position as a prominent commercial hub. While diplomacy was a key strategy for Aksum, forging alliances and navigating geopolitical complexities, the empire also engaged in warfare when necessary, leveraging its naval power to control the Red Sea and protect its trade routes. The delicate balance between diplomacy and military strength sustained Aksum's dominance, allowing it to navigate the complexities of power dynamics with finesse. However, as challenges mounted in the 7th and 8th centuries, Aksum faced external and internal pressures that threatened its stability. Climatic changes led to droughts that impacted its agriculture, while shifts in trade routes due to the rise of Islam depleted its wealth and authority. Geopolitical changes and internal strife further weakened the empire, signaling its decline. Despite its eventual collapse, Aksum's legacy continued to be uncovered through archaeological discoveries, shedding light on its intricate society. From everyday artifacts to opulent coins and royal tombs, these findings revealed a society rich in philosophy and culture, showcasing an ancient sophistication that has endured through time. Today, Aksum remains a cornerstone of Ethiopian identity, with its influence evident in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and cultural traditions. The legacy of Aksum serves as a source of resilience and inspiration for Ethiopia, reminding its people of a past marked by innovation and cultural vibrancy. Through education and cultural practices, Aksum's enduring legacy lives on, inviting reflection on a chapter of history where tradition and spirituality converged to shape a lasting narrative. European scholars discovered the remnants of the Hittite Empire, which had long been shrouded in historical myths. Initially dismissed as folklore, these ancient rulers came to light when archaeologists unearthed the ruins of Hattusa, the Hittite capital. The excitement was palpable as thousands of clay tablets inscribed in cuneiform were found, unveiling the complexities of a civilization that had been obscured by time. These tablets detailed diplomacy, trade, and warfare, showcasing the sophistication of an empire that once left its mark on history. In an era dominated by bronze, the Hittites achieved a remarkable feat by mastering iron, a metal that revolutionized warfare with its superior hardness and durability. This knowledge was closely guarded, believed by some to be a divine gift. With iron, the Hittites crafted weapons that set them apart, establishing their dominance among neighboring civilizations still reliant on bronze. Their expertise in ironwork symbolized their resilience, shaping not only their empire, but also influencing future civilizations during the Iron Age. Central to their military superiority was the chariot, a symbol of Hittite innovation that transformed warfare. These two-wheeled chariots, light, fast, and deadly, were both engineering marvels and strategic assets. Through training, the Hittites turned these chariots into fearsome weapons believed to be blessed by the gods on the battlefield. The Battle of Kadesh exemplifies their military prowess, a monumental clash with the Egyptians that continues to be debated by historians. This battle highlighted the tactical ingenuity that the Hittites brought to ancient warfare, showcasing their skills in both ironwork and strategic thinking. In the Hittite society, spirituality and politics were intertwined, with treaties considered sacred agreements witnessed by the gods. The great king, acting as both ruler and high priest, served as a bridge between the earthly and the divine realms through diplomatic engagements. The Treaty of Kadesh, inscribed on silver tablets after the famous battle, stands as one of the earliest international agreements, calling upon divine powers to ensure its enforcement. This fusion of reverence and diplomacy bound the Hittites to both celestial and earthly forces, creating a world sustained by faith as well as military might. Amidst this backdrop of power and spirituality, the city of Hattusa stood as a symbol of the Hittite civilization, with its grand fortifications serving as a testament to their need for protection and architectural expertise. Within these walls lay their archives, preserving the secrets and stories that were the essence of their society. Thriving amidst chaos, as you explore its ruins today, you may still hear whispers of its past inhabitants, as if their spirits linger among the lion gates and palaces, bridging the abyss of time with histories waiting to be uncovered. Hittite mythology weaves a complex tapestry of gods and heroes who shaped their lives. Envision tales of Tar-Hunt, the storm god, harnessing the forces of nature, and Hepat, the nurturing earth mother whose embrace was felt in the fertility of the fields. Their myths, painstakingly carved into clay tablets, depicted cosmic battles and divine intrigue, revealing a universe in constant flux, mirroring the turbulence of their existence. Rituals, festivals, and sacrifices were woven into the fabric of daily life, seeking divine favor in times of peace and war. However, like all empires, the Hittites were not immune to the passage of time and calamity. Their decline was not a sudden downfall, but a gradual fade, marked by misfortunes, droughts, invasions by enigmatic sea peoples, and internal discord unraveling their unity. As Hattusa crumbled, the Hittite flame dimmed, leaving behind fragmented myths and foreign records, fading from contemporary memory. Yet their echoes persisted, subtly influencing the powers that succeeded them. The rediscovery of the Hittites revived this lost empire, thanks to scholars piecing together the past from scattered remnants. Breakthroughs at Bogazkoy unveiled a rich archive of Hittite life, reigniting interest in their achievements and impact by shedding light on their history. The Hittites filled a gap in our understanding of cultural interconnectedness in the ancient world, showcasing humankind's enduring pursuit of innovation, faith, and empire building. Today, the Hittite Empire imparts lessons on the precarious nature of power, the dual nature of innovation, and the necessity of adaptability for survival. Though lost for centuries, their influence subtly permeates our culture, resurfacing in stories and media, sparking renewed curiosity about their world. Their story serves as a reminder of the transient nature of empires and the lasting legacy of reborn legends, giving voice once more to a society that resonated with the sounds of chariots and the whispers of gods. Amid the turmoil of the Fourth Crusade in 1204, an unexpected tale of conquest unfolded. Originally set on reclaiming Jerusalem, Crusaders found themselves entangled in debts and political intrigue, redirecting their focus towards Constantinople. They besieged the Grand City, a mosaic of ancient relics and golden splendor, not as foes of Islam, but as Christian conquerors. This act blurred alliances and sowed distrust across Christendom, shifting the global order in a paradoxical turn of events. The walls that had witnessed centuries of Byzantine glory now echoed with the clamor of a new chapter in history. Betrayal and treasures of faith turned into spoils for disillusioned warriors. Following the disastrous fall of Constantinople, the Latin Empire emerged, a fledgling realm established on the ruins of the Grand City. Picture opulent Byzantine palaces now seized by Latin lords, where foreign languages echoed in halls once filled with Eastern chants. This patchwork state was an uneasy blend of cultures, never intended to replace Byzantium. Riddled with suspicion and lacking trust from its Orthodox subjects, the Latin Empire grappled with its identity from the start. It struggled like a top-heavy tower, facing challenges from ambitious leaders who excelled in conquest but not governance. Cultural clashes between Latin rulers and Byzantine Greeks proved insurmountable, with Western traditions disrupting the long-standing Byzantine systems. Latin cavalry trod streets once vibrant with Byzantine customs, causing resentment among the locals. Despite deep cultural ties, the Latin lords attempted to impose their way of life, alienating those they governed. This transition was more than a change in leadership. It was an assault on an entire way of life, sparking a silent war of identity. Beyond its walls, the Latin Empire encountered threats from all directions, including Bulgarians, the Nicene Empire, and Byzantine exiles seeking to reclaim lost territories. The empire's defensive strategies were weak, alliances fragile, and adversaries held grudges and claims against it. Battles like Adrianople in 1205 highlighted the empire's vulnerability, often facing defeat by more organized foes. Despite its strong walls, Constantinople provided little reassurance against vengeful and ambitious adversaries. Internally, the empire battled corruption and incompetence, with nobles prioritizing personal gain over the empire's well-being. Corruption ate away at the empire's core, as part-time soldiers and unreliable mercenaries left the population exposed. Governance was marred by bought allegiances and administrative inefficiencies, diminishing the empire's grandeur. The Latin Empire became a cautionary tale of how power and ambition, without unity, led to rapid decline. In contrast, the Nicene Empire rose from Byzantine remnants, resilient and determined to reclaim Constantinople. Through military victories and strategic diplomacy, Nika steadily eroded Latin influence, restoring faith and territory on the path to sovereignty. During the cultural Renaissance, Byzantine forces led by Michael VIII Palaiologos successfully reclaimed Constantinople in 1261 from the Latin Empire. The city, once protected by impregnable walls, fell as Latin flags were replaced by Byzantine banners. For Michael, this victory held deep symbolic significance, representing a return to origins and poetic justice. The Latin Empire, though brief, left a lasting impact on history, showcasing the complex interplay between power and culture. Despite its fleeting existence, the Latin Empire influenced Orthodox rituals and Byzantine art influenced Western portrayals, leading to rich cultural exchanges. The echoes of the Latin Empire's rise and fall reverberated through Byzantine corridors, leaving behind nuanced traces in the historical tapestry. Following the fall of Constantinople to the Fourth Crusaders in 1204, the Empire of Trebizond emerged as a new entity on the Black Sea coast. Founded by Alexios Komnenos, a member of the exiled Byzantine imperial family, Trebizond flourished as a cultural and intellectual sanctuary. Embracing a blend of Byzantine tradition and regional customs, Trebizond became a vibrant melting pot of cultures along the Silk Road. The empire's rulers fostered arts and scholarship, creating a complex social fabric enriched by Persian, Armenian, and Georgian influences. Trebizond's position as a trade hub facilitated the exchange of ideas and philosophies, while its artworks mirrored the grandeur of Constantinople. The Komnenian dynasty's legacy in Trebizond exemplified a harmonious fusion of diverse cultures, shaping a unique and resilient civilization. In Trebizond, Persian poets found camaraderie with Byzantine scholars, and Armenian traders struck deals with Georgian merchants. Survival in Trebizond demanded adept political maneuvering, nestled between the advancing Seljuks, resurging Byzantines, and expanding Mongols. The emperors of Trebizond honed diplomacy into an art, deftly leveraging stronger powers against each other to maintain their empire. They forged alliances meticulously like a stonemason fitting stones, recognizing the need to yield when necessary, while fiercely protecting their sovereignty. The mountainous terrain served as a natural fortress, fortifying their borders and resources. Their strategic prowess extended to Black Sea trade, where the empire flourished economically by imposing tolls and facilitating a lucrative exchange of silk and spices amidst political turmoil. Economic prosperity in Trebizond was intertwined with its pivotal role along the Silk Road. The bustling port fostered an extensive trade network, attracting silks, spices, and metals, sustaining its economy through tariffs and taxes. The fertile lands beyond the coastal mountains further enriched its prosperity, with olive groves and vineyards supporting both the populace and the treasury. Financial stability enabled Trebizond citizens to enjoy a relatively high standard of living compared to other Byzantine remnants. Merchants and artisans gravitated to the city, enriching its cultural and intellectual landscape and emphasizing its significance on the empire's periphery. Despite the divergence between the lives of commoners and the aristocracy, both were interconnected by the land's abundance and the imperatives of survival. Peasants worked the fertile valleys, their days dictated by agricultural cycles and punctuated by communal festivities and spiritual gatherings. Amidst their toil, they found solace in the empire's religious and cultural practices. The aristocracy inhabited a realm of privilege, navigating complex political terrains while indulging in the arts and intellectual pursuits. While noble estates exuded opulence, their fortunes were intricately linked to Trebizond's delicate power balance, reliant on the labor of those toiling the land. Religion played a central role in shaping Trebizond's identity, portraying it as a spiritual stronghold amidst adversaries. Orthodox Christianity unified its people and validated the Komnenos dynasty's rule. Monasteries and churches were scattered across the land, serving as hubs of learning and faith, with illuminated manuscripts and artwork reflecting a blend of Byzantine, Armenian, and Georgian influences. The cliff-top Sumela Monastery stood as a testament to this spiritual and architectural grandeur, a guiding light in the rugged landscape. Festivals, with their grand processions and venerated relics, strengthened community bonds and spiritual continuity. However, Trebizond's survival was constantly threatened by external enemies and internal conflicts. The looming shadow of the Mongols from the east and the persistent threat from the Seljuk Turks to the south posed significant challenges. Internal power struggles among noble families further tested the empire's stability, leading to occasional civil unrest that diverted attention from external threats. Despite these obstacles, Trebizond's emperors adeptly navigated survival by balancing diplomacy, military readiness, and strategic alliances. In the 15th century, the Ottomans, under Sultan Mehmed II, posed the greatest challenge to the Empire of Trebizond. The conquest in 1461 marked the end of the empire, as it succumbed to Ottoman power. Despite its defeat, Trebizond's legacy endured through its architectural achievements, scholarly contributions, and cultural heritage, leaving a lasting impact on history. In the heart of the Indonesian archipelago was the Majapahit Empire, a powerful but often overlooked force with tales of grandeur and influence. During the 14th century, Java emerged as the vibrant center of a naval empire, extending its reach through a network of 98 tributaries across maritime Southeast Asia. Spices were the lifeblood of this empire, with cloves and nutmeg trading in bustling ports where various languages of trade converged. Majapahit flourished by blending Hinduism, Buddhism, and animist traditions, creating a unique spiritual and cultural identity. The empire's origins can be traced back to the decline of the Singh-Hasari kingdom, with a young prince named Raden Wijijaya founding Majapahit in 1293 amidst Mongol threats and domestic turmoil. Wijijaya's strategic alliances and cunning leadership paved the way for Majapahit to rise as a dominant force in Southeast Asia, leveraging its seafaring expertise and diplomatic acumen. The golden age of Majapahit in the 14th century, led by the legendary Prime Minister Gajah Mada, marked a period of prosperity and influence, solidifying its position as a key player in the region. The vision of Gajah Mada to unite the archipelago through the Palapa became a fundamental element of his political and military strategy. His vision transformed Majapahit into a regional superpower not only through conquest, but also by skillfully combining military strength with trade and sacred texts. Under his leadership, culture thrived, giving rise to epic poetry like the Nagara Gama, which depicted an idealized kingdom where spiritual and economic accomplishments were closely intertwined. Majapahit's ports bustled with traders from India, China, and other regions, establishing it as a key hub for trade, particularly in gold, textiles, and rice exports. This period was characterized by a vibrant mix of rituals, commerce, and grand ceremonies. The naval supremacy of Majapahit was legendary, with its fleets symbolizing the empire's lifeline and defense. The empire's engineers refined their designs by blending indigenous techniques with innovations borrowed from other cultures, leading to the development of massive warships known as junks. This naval strength was put to the test against the Mongol threat, where Majapahit forces adeptly navigated the archipelago's complex terrains to outmaneuver larger enemy forces. The dominance of the fleet not only secured defensive victories, but also facilitated cultural exchanges and protected the empire's trade routes. Within the Majapahit courts, a rich tapestry of opulence, ritual, and Hindu-Buddhist ethos unfolded, with politics, ceremony, and spirituality converging in grand events that marked royal milestones and governed daily life. Scholars, poets, and emissaries populated the courts, blending narratives of grandeur with the realities of everyday life. The society was a juxtaposition of lavish elite feasts and communal ceremonies that bound commoners together in shared reverence. The practices of Majapahit were steeped in syncretic beliefs that permeated all aspects of life, with the emperor serving as a divine intermediary in a world animated by spirits and myths. Rituals infused with mysticism played a central role in governance and daily life, reflecting a universal quest for order that resonates with contemporary times. The empire's far-reaching influence extended to the renowned spice and silk trade routes, controlling major maritime channels that connected Asian civilizations. Trade was not just about commerce, but also a deeply ingrained tradition that shaped lifestyles, with spices like cloves and nutmeg holding both economic power and mystical allure. Despite its immense influence, the empire began to face a decline by the late 15th century due to internal strife. Political intrigue and disputes over succession led to the downfall of its once united rule. The rise of Islam brought about a significant cultural and political shift that challenged the traditional Hindu and Buddhist practices. Additionally, shifting trade dynamics in favor of Islamic sultanates contributed to the decline of Majapahit's dominance at sea. The once powerful fleets of Majapahit became silent, and palaces fell into disrepair, marking the end of a fading civilization overtaken by inevitable changes. However, the cultural legacy of Majapahit lives on through its architecture and art, which can still be seen in landmarks like the temples of Trulan and in traditional performances such as shadow puppet plays like Wong Kulit. These remnants serve as a connection to modern Indonesian identity, with ceremonial rituals and dances tracing their roots back to the Majapahit era. Far from being mere historical footnotes, these cultural artifacts stand as living testimonies to a rich past. As nature reclaims the once grand structures, they serve as reminders of the cyclical nature of history, leaving behind enduring narratives among the silent ruins. These echoes continue to resonate, whispering stories of resilience intertwined with the allure of the past. If this glimpse into medieval life has piqued your interest, please show your support by liking this content. And if you're eager for more compelling tales from the darker side of history, consider subscribing to Medieval Grime. We present history in a flavorful and engaging way. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, and we look forward to sharing more stories with you in the future. In the remote deserts of northwestern China, a landscape of sand and whispers, conceals the story of the Western Shia civilization. Once a thriving kingdom, it now resides in obscurity, overshadowed by more prominent historical narratives. The Tangut people, inhabitants of this forgotten realm, etched their legacy through the passage of time. Positioned along the Silk Road, this empire prospered for close to 2 centuries, a bastion of unique language and unwavering Buddhist faith, only to succumb to the relentless might of Genghis Khan's Mongol armies. Picture an empire with its distinct language, erecting cities that defied the harsh desert environment, and shaping a culture and governance system now buried beneath the sands of history. The Tangut people, with origins in the Tibetan Plateau, crafted an identity woven with language and resilience. Their script, a symbol of resistance against cultural assimilation, served as a cornerstone of their administrative and daily lives. Deeply rooted in Buddhism, they adorned their surroundings with monasteries that whispered stories of spiritual contemplation and endurance, embodying beliefs that anchored their existence amidst uncertainties. Art adorned with Buddhist symbolism mirrored their aspirations and concerns, setting a boundary of identity that was both unique and profound. The geographic setting of Western Shia, nestled between the Ordos Desert and the rugged heights of the Tibetan Plateau, was not just a strategic stronghold but also a cradle of life. Cities constructed from compacted earth stood as silent witnesses to the past. The designs of the people spoke of a focus on survival and resilience. The air carried scents of incense from majestic monasteries, where statues conveyed stories through their silent gazes. In the dry landscape, irrigation defied the harshness of nature, supporting the growth of communities that experienced both prosperity and the constant threat of Mongol ambitions. The empire thrived along the Silk Road, with traders bringing silk, spices, and gems converging within its borders, creating a bustling hub of exchange. However, this wealth also drew the attention of the Mongols, who were eager for conquest. The Silk Road was a pathway of destiny, bringing opulence, while the looming shadow of Mongol invasion whispered through its routes. In the heart of the Western Sea, art and literature flourished, creating a cultural tradition that was both exquisite and fleeting. Intricate murals and sculptures went beyond mere decoration, reflecting a worldview filled with color and contemplation. Tangut literature aimed to preserve their identity by translating Buddhist texts into their own language, safeguarding their cultural wisdom. The intellectual growth of the empire was short-lived, as much of it was destroyed by the Mongol invasion, leaving behind only traces of its former glory. The Western Sea Army, skilled in tactics and maneuvering, defended the empire against formidable enemies, with cavalry that rivaled the feared Mongol horsemen. Despite early resistance, the Mongols, with their adaptive tactics, eventually overcame the Tangut forces through siege warfare, leading to the downfall of the Western Sea in 1226. The total destruction wrought by Genghis Khan's wrath left little behind, with cities in ruins, historical records lost, and the Tangut script fading into oblivion. This obliteration was not just conquest, but a ruthless erasure of history, ensuring that the empire would not rise again from its ashes. The remnants of this once great empire have been unearthed by archaeologists, providing insights into Tangut achievements and resilience. These discoveries offer a glimpse into a sophisticated culture with ambitious goals, shedding light on a world that had been silent for centuries. Today, Western Shia emerges not just as a mere memory, but as a fascinating chapter in the chronicles of conquest and resilience. The history of yarn is intricately woven into the larger tapestry of human power and memory, serving as a reminder of transient yet significant moments in Asia's medieval saga. This story urges us to revisit forgotten narratives that have influenced our collective past, highlighting the importance of acknowledging voices that speak from the shadows of history. The tale reflects on the rise and fall of civilizations, emphasizing the enduring impact they leave on societal memory. Hidden within the rugged landscape of modern-day Oaxaca, the Zapotec civilization thrived for over a millennium, showcasing a story marked by creativity and resilience. Settling in fertile valleys around 500 BCE, the Zapotecs cultivated maize, beans, and squash, creating thriving settlements that harmonized with the natural environment. their vibrant culture intertwined with the bountiful resources, leading to the development of terrace farming and irrigation systems that shaped their urban centers. The Zapotecs revered the land as sacred, attributing spiritual significance to mountains, rivers, and skies, thereby forging a deep connection between the earth and their identity. At the heart of their civilization stood Monte Alban, a city that symbolized both political power and cultural richness. This meticulously planned city served as a hub of artistic expression, astronomical exploration, and religious ceremonies that reflected the social hierarchy of Zapotec society. Monte Alban's influence extended beyond its borders, fostering trade and intellectual exchanges with neighboring Mesoamerican cultures. The city's artisans crafted intricate pieces, astronomers studied the heavens, and priests orchestrated rituals that bridged the gap between the practical and the mystical realms. The Zapotecs' writing system, depicted through glyphs on monuments and ceramics, unveiled stories of lineage, astronomical knowledge, and spiritual beliefs, enriching their cultural heritage with a legacy of language intertwined with cosmic cycles. The Zapotec civilization was a vibrant tapestry of religion and ritual, weaving together mythology, astronomy, and divine worship. They had their own pantheon of gods representing natural forces, agriculture, and fertility, honored through ceremonies held atop the sacred pyramids of Monte Alban. Priests conducted rites to unite the heavenly and earthly realms in a synchronized dance, creating a rhythm that resonated throughout the city. These rituals not only had spiritual significance, but also served to maintain social harmony and mark important ceremonies in the community's life. Celebrations were filled with music, dance, and processions, blending into cohesive displays of faith and identity. Alongside these grand rituals, more intimate devotions took place at humble shrines, reflecting a pervasive spirituality that intertwined with both public and private life. The lines between the sacred and the mundane blurred as rituals became woven into everyday beliefs and practices. Warfare was another key aspect of Zapotec society, shaping internal dynamics and external interactions. Monte Alban boasted strong defenses, but conflict was not foreign to the Zapotecs. Battles were fought for defense, trade dominance, and mythological expansion, with victories bringing prestige, resources, and sometimes captives for spiritual offerings. Despite their militaristic prowess, the Zapotecs also excelled in diplomacy, forming alliances with neighboring groups through marriages and cultural exchanges. The civilization's power structure was organized around clear hierarchies, with elites, priests, warriors, and nobles overseeing spiritual and material welfare from grand stone mansions. Commoners lived in adobe shelters, sustaining the community through agricultural labor and craftsmanship. Their daily lives followed the rhythms of the earth and sky, marked by seasonal cycles, bustling markets, communal diets centered around corn, and religious observances tied to celestial events. Craftsmanship and innovation were integral to Zapotec identity, reflected in their intricate art and architecture. From the impressive facades of Monte Alban to the fine pottery and textiles, each creation spoke to their cultural heritage and creativity. The Zapotecs' ability to balance conflict and diplomacy, spirituality and everyday life, allowed their civilization to endure and thrive amidst the challenges of pre-Columbian politics, leaving a resilient legacy in the tumultuous landscape of their time. Preserved in tangible forms, the Zapotec spirit of ingenuity not only shaped structures but also the very soil, adapting through agricultural prowess and environmental strategies that allowed them to thrive despite challenges. However, empires can only stand strong within the passage of time, and as time passed, the Zapotecs declined. Their fall was not sudden, but rather a gradual decline, a mix of internal conflicts and external pressures. As the Mixtec civilization rose in prominence, Zapotec influence merged into a broader cultural amalgamation, leaving behind a lasting cultural impact. Even after their voices faded, the secrets of Monte Alban were slowly uncovered by dedicated archaeologists. Each unearthed artifact and deciphered glyph breathed life into the silent past, revealing layers of Zapotec complexity and innovation. These archaeological findings remind us of the rich intricacies beyond the familiar narratives of Aztecs and Mayans. Today, Oaxaca resonates with the legacy of its ancestors, where modern Zapotec communities preserve their cultural heritage, engaging in a timeless dialogue with the past. The Zapotecs, with their rise and gentle decline, left not just ruins, but a testament to human perseverance. Their voices, etched in glyphs, continue to whisper lessons across generations, demonstrating resilience in the face of challenges and embracing complex histories and universal human truths. In the warm and humid heart of maritime Southeast Asia once thrived a vibrant and elusive empire known as Srivijaya. This powerful trading hub, situated on the island of Sumatra in present-day Indonesia, controlled the vital Malacca Strait through astute diplomacy and formidable naval strength. From the 7th to the 13th century, Srivijaya was a diverse society, with bustling ports filled with the sounds of commerce and languages from Chinese, Indian, and Arabic traders mingling amidst the aroma of spices and dense jungle air. Despite its significant role in cultural and economic exchanges, Srivijaya often remains overshadowed by conquest-focused empires and historical narratives. As a hub for cultural and economic interactions, Srivijaya welcomed Buddhist monks from the south, along with Arab and Indian merchants sharing stories of distant lands and economic opportunities. The influence of Srivijaya was subtle yet profound. Its power derived not from military might but from trade routes and intellectual currents. At its peak, Srivijaya thrived on maritime trade, utilizing monsoon winds to navigate fleets across vast ocean expanses, asserting dominance over crucial sea routes. By controlling this strategic maritime passage, Srivijaya not only accumulated wealth, but also facilitated a vibrant exchange of ideas and cultures through its ports. Peaceful dominance characterized a distinctive approach to empire building. Rather than expanding through land conquests, this empire extended its influence over the Indo-Malay archipelago via the seas. Palembang, the bustling heart of Srivijaya, was alive with activity and trade. Imagine vibrant markets filled with traders selling ivory and silk, the air resonating with human chatter and the sounds of busy stalls. This was a place where different cultures coexisted, showcasing the cosmopolitan nature of an empire that embraced diversity and encouraged dialogue. Various languages mingled, new philosophies took root, and religious exchanges thrived, creating a colorful tapestry woven from the threads of numerous beliefs and traditions. The spiritual essence of this world emanated from Buddhist stupas and monasteries where scholars and monks congregated. Clad in saffron robes, they stood out against the lush green surroundings, united by loyalty and faith to a shared purpose. The powerful kings of Srivijaya, ardent supporters of Buddhism, turned their realm into a center of education and enlightenment. Buddhism flourished, adapting and evolving into local interpretations as unique as the tropical flora. The cultural and spiritual interactions facilitated by Srivijayan monks extended beyond their borders, leaving a lasting impact on distant lands, as exemplified by Aisha, a renowned Buddhist scholar whose studies in Srivijaya influenced Tibetan Buddhism. However, like all human endeavors, Srivijaya eventually faced a decline. By the 13th century, this maritime empire began to fade, weakened by changes in trade routes, internal conflicts, and the emergence of new powers like the Javanese Majapahit. The once bustling sea routes became quiet, no longer bustling with ships navigating the cerulean waters. The spread of Islam in the region altered the religious landscape, diminishing Srivijaya's influence until it gradually faded into history, its departure marked by a slow decline rather than a sudden collapse. The veil over Srivijaya's legacy was not lifted until the early 20th century, when scholars like George Khazars painstakingly reconstructed its history by deciphering ancient inscriptions and exploring forgotten paths. Their discoveries helped bring Srivijaya's forgotten story back to life, revealing its grand narrative through intricately carved stones and time-worn artifacts that hinted at its former glory. Today, Srivijaya's influence subtly persists in the cultural tapestry of Southeast Asia. Its legacy lives on in the region's traditions of trade, maritime governance, and cultural synthesis, evident in the nation-states that now occupy its former territories. While the physical artifacts of Srivijaya may shine brightly, its profound spiritual and cultural impact continues to illuminate the history of the region. Resonating within the shared histories of its descendants, the story of Srivijaya serves as a poignant reminder of a world once united by trade routes and spiritual quests. It is a narrative that showcases resilience and cultural enlightenment amidst the ebbs and flows of history. Reflecting on Srivijaya and similar empires reveals the impermanence of power exerted over land and sea. Empires may rise and fall, but their tales endure, echoing through forgotten ruins and brought to life in the present through diligent exploration and discovery. The rediscovery of Srivijaya enriches the historical fabric, illustrating the enduring spirit of humanity's quest for knowledge and the value of nurturing a legacy of cultural strength rather than mere territorial dominance. Following the decline of mighty empires, a haunting silence descends, quietly transforming or erasing the remnants of their power. This silence is not just an absence of sound, it is a tapestry woven from forgotten stories, echoes of lost languages and artifacts slowly fading under the relentless march of time. It serves as a poignant reminder that power, no matter how vast, is fleeting, eventually yielding to the gentle force of history. This silence often arises not from grand upheavals, but from the mundane realities of bureaucracy and decay. The fall of the Western Roman Empire, for instance, was not solely due to barbarian invasions, but also stemmed from logistical failures and economic challenges. The ensuing silence carried lessons from a bygone era that shaped the future, but was eventually consigned to oblivion. Empires can crumble under the weight of their own bureaucratic complexities. The Byzantine Empire, known for its efficient administrative system and stable times, became unwieldy during crises due to convoluted tax laws and bloated administrative structures, leading to stagnation. Similarly, the Tang dynasty in China faced decline as its bureaucracy grew rigid and self-serving in the face of internal rebellions. While history often emphasizes dramatic endings, many empires decline gradually due to neglect. The Roman Empire, once sprawling and powerful, saw its frontiers become unmanageable, vibrant cities turning into ghost towns and infrastructure falling into disrepair. As the focus shifted, oversight waned, hastening the silent unraveling of once mighty realms. The quiet decline of empires does not signify emptiness, but rather the subtle pulse of life adapting, flourishing, or fading away beyond the gaze of the world. Some empires not only faced natural decay, but also deliberate cultural erasure. For example, the Mongols, in their conquest of the Western Xia, aimed not just for domination, but complete obliteration of the Tangut culture. This highlights how easily cultural memory can be erased when those in power choose to silence it. While the destruction may not always be total, remnants of these cultures can still be found in folklore, ruins, and artifacts unearthed by archaeologists. Consider the Khmer Empire, known for its magnificent temples like Angkor Wat that continue to inspire awe. Although physical remnants remain, much of the empire's cultural richness has been lost or reshaped by subsequent rulers. The empire is now partly remembered, shrouded in mystery, with its stories fragmented over time. Languages often disappear along with the empires that gave rise to them, taking vast knowledge and cultural practices with them. The Sogdian language, once crucial for trade, faded away along with its empire, leaving behind traces in place names and writings. However, some languages, like Latin, persist beyond the fall of their empires, evolving into legal, scientific, and religious languages that influence their successors. Monuments and ruins bear witness to the past, silently narrating tales of grandeur and destruction. Structures such as the Pillars of Persepolis or the Stelae of Axum tell stories of ancient glory and remind us of the transient nature of power. These remnants stir our imagination, allowing us to glimpse life in cities that have long crumbled. As empires decline, superstitions often emerge, serving as guardians of cultures on the verge of silence. These beliefs, far from being mere relics, play a significant role in preserving cultural heritage and processing decline. Superstitions intertwined with folklore help retain fragments of ancient worlds, ensuring that some stories endure even as empires fall. When empires collapse, unlikely legacies may emerge. The fall of the Umayyad Caliphate gave rise to the Abbasids, who fostered cultural and scientific advancements that led to a vibrant Renaissance. Former empires have also reinvented themselves as independent states, carrying forward cultural elements into the modern era. The adaptability of these cultures showcases that silence does not always mean oblivion, but rather metamorphosis, echoing through cultural transformations. Continuity, whether intentionally preserved or inadvertently sustained, holds significance in modern times. The lessons learned from historical silences carry relevance as contemporary societies, driven by global ambitions, should learn from past mistakes. Empires did not always collapse at convenient junctures. Power dynamics shifted gradually, often only discernible in hindsight. As cultures navigate the challenges of globalization, looking back at the memory of ancient empires provides valuable insights into the importance of preserving diversity. For example, the Khazan Empire's decision to adopt a religion different from its neighbors challenges the norms of conformity, demonstrating how diversity can actually strengthen empires. The silence that follows the fall of an empire serves as both a reflection and a cautionary tale, highlighting that echoes, not just absence, hold valuable wisdom. Within this silence lie untold stories waiting to be rediscovered, not just to document the decline of power or the dispersal of people, but as a testament to the impermanence of life. Amidst the silence, resilience emerges, as remnants of ruins, echoes of languages, and the enduring influence of past cultures continue to shape modern society. The muted voices of the past still resonate in contemporary life, sparking curiosity about how we interpret history. From these forgotten empires, we learn that might and prosperity alone cannot defy the passage of time. The stories we choose to tell, or the silence we allow to prevail, determine how we remember the past. Although empires may fall, their echoes persist, offering narratives and reminders that help us navigate through the vast expanse of history.